I'd like to talk about your paternal grandmother, your dad's mom. Her name was Ida.
That's right.
Okay.
But I called her Grandma.
Okay. And I know she was a good cook. You've told me that. What was your favorite thing that she cooked?
I think I liked her meatballs the best. But she also made great homemade pasta too.
Oh wow, that's pretty neat.
We had that for all the holidays, Easter and Christmas. Always look forward to the pasta.
And what's one of your favorite memories of her besides food?
Well, sometimes when my parents used to go out of town, I'd be left over there for the weekend, and I can remember she was very afraid of thunderstorms. And I remember one time when I was probably 7 or 8 years old. I remember we had a bad thunderstorm and she was hiding under a blanket on the couch. And I remember sitting on the floor thinking, well, what about me? Who's going to save me from the thunder? I also remember because she was of Italian heritage and English was her second language. I used to have G.I. Joes I played with, and she used to say, oh, you're playing with your mans again. So those are some memories of her that I remember.
Do you remember when you first started to realize that she had Parkinson's disease?
Yeah, it was when I was in high school, around 1979 or 80. I first noticed that she had very shaky hands. So that was, really the first symptom that I observed.
And did that change your ability to do any of her normal daily life?
Not right away, but of course, like we talked about, one of the great things she enjoyed doing was cooking. And over time, she was unable to stand at the stove for long periods of time, and she was also unable to make her pasta. And then also, her hands, of course, became weaker and weaker. So, in fact, one of the pictures that you have is a time that we went over there for dinner, and you see her sitting by the stove in her chair, and she was actually supervising because at that point she was too weak to actually cook or stand up for a long period of time. But she could still tell people what to do.
And who actually was doing the cooking then?
My mother and my father that day.
And then over time, did she become unable to do more things for herself, or?
Oh, absolutely. Just like the cooking. I mean, some other things were, using the bathroom became difficult for her because there was a step up into the area where their bathroom was. So she needed help just navigating around the house, but then also eventually she needed somebody to kind of take her into the bathroom and then help her get up and get out of the bathroom. So gradually, and she was always very gracious about, as her abilities diminished. But
what do you mean by that?
Well, that she took everything fairly cheerful. She was never really negative or down about it. She always maintained a very positive attitude. But then eventually, even she weakened to the point where, say, she had a commode in the living room. In fact, the last year and a half of her life, she pretty much lived in the living room area, had a hospital bed in the commode, and sat in a rocking chair during the day. So just lost her mobility and her strength, and needed a lot more help from other people to do daily tasks.
You told me that she needed to be fed after a while?
That's right. In fact, the picture that you have, she has a bib, like a bib on, and that's because at that point she was too weak to hold silverware herself, so she had to be fed.
Who would feed her?
Well, usually my father or his brother would go over and help her with meals and other tasks.
How did her being ill affect your family life?
Well, all of our family, my uncle lived next door, and he used to go back and forth between the houses a lot and help her with different tasks. My father used to have to leave after dinner. He used to go down there after dinner for a couple hours and help her get ready for bed. And so they all took turns. My aunt used to come by on the weekends and clean and cook for her. So just the whole family pitching in to help her maintain her lifestyle in her home. She also had a warning device around her neck where if she fell, she could hit a button and went to a call center. That helped her maintain her independence and her ability to live at home for longer.
She was at home until she died, wasn't she?
Exactly. Yeah, she died at home in her chair. In her living room.
Thanks.